call the meeting to order. And now we'll do the Pledge of Allegiance.
I pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all.
Thank you. We could all just take a moment to reflect. If you're the praying kind, if you could say a quick prayer for the people of our township, for our applicant who is interviewing tonight, and for us, the board, to make the right decision. Okay, next is roll call.
Supervisor Godey,
Here.
Clerk Faracco, here. Treasurer Davis, here. Trustee McKay,
Here.
Trustee Menke is absent. Trustee Blanchard,
Here.
Trustee Hopkins, here. 6, we have a quorum.
Thank you. Next is the approval of agenda. Any additions, deletions, or corrections? Fair motion
Motion to accept. Support.
and discussion? Okay. All those in favor say aye.
Aye.
Any opposed? All right. Next is public comment for agenda items only. Is there anyone with public comments? Thought Cody was going to stand up and say something. Next, we will just get started with our interview, and Trustee McKay and I spoke earlier. He thought it would be smoother if one person just read the interview questions. That would give everyone time to write their answers. If you're okay with that, I will go ahead and read the questions. Okay with everyone?
That's fine.
All right. So the first question is, we're in the category of leadership and management. What is your leadership style, and how do you adapt it when leading paid on-call personnel?
I like to allow people to do what they need to do and provide the guidance that comes with it. We have to be able to bring the next generation up. So, you know, I keep saying we because it's all inclusive. Make decisions, make them quick, back them up. So, you know, you try and do it as gently as possible, but there are times when the decision has to be made, and then we can discuss that afterwards. So, strong leader, strong hand, soft touch kind of thing.
Am I talking loud enough, Cody? The mic is dead. The next question is, how have you built trust and respect among your staff and the community in past roles? I didn't read it.
Be consistent and be accountable. If I make a mistake, I will be the first one to tell you that I made that mistake. Don't push that off on anybody else. I own it. And by the same token, we, as far as the crew, everyone, good happens to everyone. Bad comes through me. So I like to think that's how, in my previous job, my crews all understood. I've got your back. Anything bad comes through me. Anything good is on them.
Thank you. Tell us about a time you had to resolve a conflict within your department. What approach did you take?
There's been a lot of difficult conversations over the years. Basically, I take them off to the side and we have a discussion and we talk about what happened, why it happened, what the results were and how can we change that behavior. I've had several of those types of things where, you can't treat people certain ways. You have to be respectful. So never admonish people in front of a group. We take them off to the side and say, this was unacceptable. We need to modify this behavior. Let's sit down. Let's talk about it.
Thank you. How do you balance administrative duties with being visible and present in the field?
That's tough. When you go all through the ranks, it's hard to let people do what they're supposed to do as you stand back and oversee the safety and the operation. That's a tough one. And sometimes I have to remind myself, no, back up. So it's just a matter of reminding yourself, even after all these years, that I don't need to put my hands on these things. Otherwise, that's why I have all these people. And this current group of firefighters that we have don't allow me to do a lot of things. They will actually push me off the side. No, you don't need to carry that. No, you don't need to do this. So we got a great group.
How would you handle underperformance or lack of attendance from a paid on-call firefighter?
Again, it's that one-on-one conversation. You just have to make those expectations clear. This is what we need you to do. I need you to step up. Let's move forward. Let's get this done.
Next, we're going to move into strategic planning and administration. What are the first 90 days of your leadership typically focused on in a new department role?
Getting your feet on the ground, for one thing. Just as you move into the next role, the next higher role, you just have to feel out where you are and what your expectations are, and figure out, how do I achieve this? Am I going to do this? Is this the right thing to do? And just trying to balance that out as to, again, I have to pull back from this so I can do that.
Thank you. How would you go about creating or updating a strategic plan for a small paid on-call fire department?
Evaluate where we are, for one thing. Set the plan, set the goals for what we would like to achieve, and then make that plan and then try and implement that plan to achieve those goals.
Can I ask a question?
Of course.
Who would you involve in that process?
Ideally, all the stakeholders that are in the community. So it's not just isolated into the fire department. There are stakeholders out there that have vested interest in how the fire department performs, what we do, what we have, what we can bring to them, as much as what you can bring to us. So all the stakeholders that we can determine should be involved, and we should be a cooperative effort to do that. Thank you.
What is your experience with budgeting, purchasing, and capital planning?
All through my life. My first job at 19 years old was running an assistant manager in a retail store. So budgeting that, making sure the inventory was appropriate, everything that we need, we had. As I went through the ranks with the Battle Creek Fire Department, I moved up and I was assisting with the chief in implementing the $8 million budget. So, where does it need to go? What priorities are there? Do we have enough for this? Is that appropriate? That type of thing. Here, I've been asked on occasion about the budget, but I've never had the opportunity to sit down with the chief and go through our budget line by line. I'm looking forward to doing that because it's interesting to me. And one of the other things I do is I'm on the board of directors for a local credit union. So that's a $600 million operation. We set the budget, we approve appropriations and all those types of things. So that's an exciting thing.
Good. How would you justify the need for new apparatus or staffing changes to the township board?
Again, we're gonna go through and show this vehicle, we have a 20-year life cycle for fire apparatus. We're 23 with some of ours. Go through, these are the costs of keeping this on the road as opposed to the cost of replacing that. And as far as retention of personnel, that's a difficult thing in a paid on call world because of the time requirements that are placed on the people. The best we can do, we preach family first. Nothing here is more important than your family. Don't ever miss something with your family to do something here. All the time, anytime, whatever time you have, that's what we ask.
The next category is operations and incident command. Describe your experience as an incident commander on large scale or multi-agency incidents.
Going back, as a 24-year-old with this department, as a lieutenant, multi-agencies, Penfield, Johnstown, actually having the incident command role at that point. Moving up, city of Battle Creek, we did large scale incidents many times. Factory fires, large residential fires. It's concentration and paying attention to where the people are, what the people are doing. And it's a chore at times, but you know, we've been through it. So
How do you ensure operational readiness with a paid on-call model where availability may vary?
what we've implemented is a weekly check. The expectation is if you have the time, you come and they go through all the equipment and make sure everything's ready, everything's clean, and everything's good to go. And again, if you have that time available, we expect that to be reflected in your attendance. Again, if you have a family function, you've got a vacation, that takes precedence. But if you have the time, we expect you to show up and go through that. So you know the equipment, you know where it's at, and you know its service.
How do you evaluate your department's performance on emergency calls?
I take a step back and overview, and then when we get back to the stations, we will have a debriefing, after action report, whatever you want to call it. We will go over what happened well and what didn't happen well. And then that gives me the idea of where do we need to train? What things do we need to concentrate on? What do we need to fix? And what are we doing wrong? You know, and that's just as important to let people know they've done well as it is to say we need to fix this.
Next is, what is your approach to risk management and firefighter safety on scene?
It's paramount. And there have been times where I've pulled people off to the side at a scene because they weren't wearing the appropriate safety gear. And, you know, much to their dismay, they didn't like that, but if you don't have the right gear on and you're not being safe, you're going to stand off to the side until we get that fixed. As far as the equipment goes, that has to be, there are certain things that are governed by NFPA that have to be looked after, they have to be repaired, they have to be replaced. Those will be done.
The next category is training and development. How do you structure and motivate ongoing training for paid on-call firefighters?
This is the fun part. In my tenure with Battle Creek, I was the chief of training. So my job was to create content and implement that training content. So here, it's a little different but it's not that different. We identify, we need this to be a training topic. We figure out how we want to implement that, and we go forward and we train and hopefully have a little bit of fun while we're doing that too, but it's serious. You perform as you train. So if you don't take it serious, you're not going to do serious in the field. So everything can be, we can have fun in every aspect, but we've got to take it serious. And if they don't, we have a conversation.
What tools or methods do you use to track certifications and training hours?
Right now, we have our online emergency networking program that covers all of that. All of our incidents are input to that. Those incidents are uploaded to the NFPA or FEMA, excuse me, on a monthly basis. And then that tracks their certifications, all their training records. And it gives us messages that says, hey, you have someone, their certification is close to expiring. So we can address that, go, hey, we got to get this done.
Does that work with state licenses too?
Yeah.
Okay.
That's about the main thing that comes through with that.
Licenses, I guess, and certifications.
Yeah.
Fire certified
Right
medical
now,
license is
the
a
state of
license.
Michigan the Firefighter Training Council has implemented several years ago continuing education credit requirements. They approved it, they implemented it, but it's not in place yet. So we got ahead of the curve on that with our online training program. So the minimum is 1 hour a month. So if they can't come to the 4-hour monthly drill, everyone has the 1 hour computer program that's available to them and expected to be completed as well.
And you've said this a couple times, but how do you ensure compliance with Michigan's fire and EMS training mandates and NFPA standards?
They're ever changing, so you just got to stay on top of them, make sure everybody's got their proper hours and all of their appropriate topics that are taken care of. Again, it's back into that program. It's hard to track individuals without that program to say, hey, so-and-so, you're coming up. Do you have enough time? Do you have enough credits? Do you have enough topics? So it's just keeping on top of that program to make sure everybody is in the right place at the right time.
Describe a successful training initiative that you have led in the past.
I will give you my elevator class. Elevators are a strange beast. I developed from scratch an elevator class, elevator safety class. So if anyone's locked in it, we knew how to get them out, all those types of things, how to use the fire key where we can take over the elevator. So that was, I'll pat myself in the back. It was really cool.
Did it have elevator music?
You know,
Good job.
I did. I did all through the PowerPoint, everything from top to bottom. That was from scratch. So that one was a fun one.
The next category is community relations and public education. How do you engage the community in fire prevention and education efforts?
We can do better. I'll start off with that. Really, the fire education shouldn't just be geared to children. And since we really don't have any elementary schools, it's hard for us to do that. But that education can be brought to the adults, to the parents as well. So when we have our fundraisers, our pancake breakfast, our spaghetti dinners, engaging in that, whether it's at the door or during the event or whatever, our initiative is to go out into the public and do the hands-only CPR, offer that to anyone who wants it, but specifically the churches and the service organizations, and get that out so that we can hopefully save somebody's life in that as well. But as far as fire safety goes, we also have the smoke detector program. So when we visit someone's house for whatever event, We always look for smoke detectors. We're always educating on the value of the smoke detectors and carbon monoxide detectors. Anytime we engage with anybody in the public, those conversations are had. So
How would you represent the department at public events, schools, or township board meetings?
hopefully with honor and with respect. That's something that we just talked about that the other day. When you're in your uniform, when you have your t-shirt, you're representing not just this department, but this township and the citizens that we serve. So your behavior matters, and you need to behave in an appropriate manner as long as anytime, but as long as you have your uniform shirt on, you need to be aware that your actions may have consequences. No.
What steps would you take to improve the public's perception and understanding of the department's role?
A better engagement with our Facebook page, for one, because Facebook is such a large part of most people's lives. It's underutilized right now, I think, and I spoke with Cody on a couple of ideas for both the fire department's Facebook page and the township's Facebook page. And then, just being out in the public, if any service group or church wants to have a presentation, we're more than willing to come out and do any of those types of things too.
The next category is recruitment, retention, and department culture. Recruiting paid on-call firefighters is a growing challenge. What strategies have worked for you?
I'll go back again. Any incident we go to, we look around and we offer, hey, you look like you'd make a good firefighter. Why don't you come down and get an application? One of the biggest challenges for recruiting is the time commitment that has to be made. There's 240 hours of your time to get firefighter 1 and 2 certified, and then another 66 hours, I believe, for the MFR certification. It's a lot. That's a lot, and there are many people that just don't have that time, but we do our own academy, so we can make accommodations as far as time goes. But the biggest hurdle is that time commitment for people. And, some people are just not willing to get rid of their facial hair either. And that's a mandate. Can't interfere with your face piece seal.
So just to brag a little bit, you just kind of mentioned in there that the township has its own fire academy because you have fire instructors on your department, right? And then for EMS educators, you have an IC, a licensed instructor coordinator on your department.
Hopefully we're getting more of each.
We're working on that. How do you foster a team culture when many members are on call?
It's like herding cats sometimes, but you just have to make sure everybody's paying attention. You drill into everybody's head that there's no freelancing. No one does things by themselves. It's a team. No one works by themselves. That's how people get lost. That's how people get hurt. So it's drilled into everybody, 2 in, 2 out. We don't do anything by ourselves. And if somebody is caught doing things by themselves, there's a conversation that's had almost immediately.
What retention strategies do you find effective for keeping paid on-call firefighters engaged long-term?
Just creating that culture of belonging, I think. We do have a lot of fun. We have, a lot of different things going on. We have a large, diverse group of people that have a just broad skill set, but just creating that family atmosphere that, they're all brothers and sisters. So as that, brothers and sisters sometimes, have a little set to every now and again. But it's that culture of belonging and the sense of family, and just try and develop that as best we can.
I'm gonna ask you a few scenario-based questions. The first question is, you arrive at a structure fire where mutual aid was delayed. Multiple paid on-call firefighters are arriving late. What steps do you take?
This is a question head on. Well, you have to assess the situation. The risk reward scenario has to go through. What do I need to do? How do I need to do it? When do I need to get it done? If there's life safety involved, that changes the entire scenario. But if mutual aid's delayed, my personnel are delayed, we call for another group, call for another set of mutual aid departments. As you're there, and I've done this, I was the only one on the scene of a bedroom fire. And not really wanting to go inside, but not knowing whether there was anyone inside or not. That there's an exception to the 2 in and 2 out rule. If there's life safety involved, you can void that 2 in and 2 out. Not recommended, but there better be a life safety issue if you do that. So just call for more help. Do what you can. There's nothing wrong with trying to put out a fire from the outside until you get the proper resources.
Can you real quick explain the 2 in 2 out rule?
That's a regulation through the state and the federal government.
VA.
You work in teams. So unless, like I said, there's an exception. If there is a known life safety issue, 2 people go in, 2 people on the outside to make sure that if anything happens to those 2, you've got 2 people ready to get them out. It's non-negotiable, except in that scenario where you pull up and someone says, my baby's in that room. You do what you got to do to get that baby. But as a rule, 2 in, 2 out, and then that's very, very, very rigid. That's not negotiable. That's what you have to do.
The next scenario-based question is, you receive a complaint from a citizen about how a recent call was handled. How do you respond?
Investigate what happened, get the information from that person specifically, what their complaint was, what their perception of the scenario was. A lot of times it's time-based, that time accelerates for people when they have an emergency. If it took you a half an hour to get here, we'll discuss that. I'll show the logs. From the time we were notified, it took us 3.5 minutes to get here. We can't discuss what happened at the dispatch center, but from the time we were notified, 3, 4, 5 minutes and we're here. So it's just a discussion and try to get to that understanding of, number one, what their perceived issue is, and number two, what we can do to clarify. And if there is an issue, then we address it.
Okay. The next scenario-based question is, your department is denied funding for a much-needed apparatus upgrade. What is your next move?
Find alternative funding as best you can. Grants, community fundraising, whatever needs to be, you got to get through. This township went through this at the turn of the year 2000. We were actually dispatching tow trucks on our alarms because some of the apparatus would not be able to return without being towed. So that whole scenario is a real scenario, and it was done through a millage. There was a special millage that took a lot of different votes. But it was eventually gone through, and we were able to replace those vehicles, and that's the fleet we have right now, basically. You just got to find the funding as best you can from wherever you can.
Okay. Next is regulatory knowledge and compliance. What are your responsibilities under NFPA, MIOSHA, and other applicable codes as fire chief?
You are the ultimate responsible person. the authority having jurisdiction is what the phrase is. In my previous role with the city of Battle Creek, I was the compliance officer for the Battle Creek Fire Department. So everything imaginable we went through, had to comply with. No one can comply 100%. There's not a full-time fire department that can comply 100%. Everyone does the best they can and tries to get as close as we can. I've worked with MIOSHA on several complaints, and through that back and forth with them, with the respect, knowledge, paperwork, all that kind of good stuff, they came through, they cleared our complaint without a fine. We had 4 complaints and we did not get a single dollar fine. So it's just a matter of respecting that person and being upfront. Whatever you say that we're doing wrong, we will do the best we can to fix it. But we will also strive to do the best we can to make sure we comply with everything that we can.
How do you stay current on evolving fire service laws, EMS regulations, and best practices?
Through the different organizations, the NFPA is one of the better sources. You get the updates from them, any changes. You actually have opportunities to have input on any of the changes that go through the NFPA. And then other publications, International Association of Fire Chiefs, Fire Engineering, as a matter of fact, is a good source as well. Plus, the State Fire Marshal's office. They tend to put things out to let you know what's happening and what's coming down the pipe.
Okay. These are final wrap-up questions. 25 of them. There's some. Okay. Why do you want to be the fire chief for our department?
This goes way back. My father was on the fire department. He was also a part-time police officer for Bedford. He actually went through the ranks and was assistant chief himself before he retired and left. It's a family affair. My sister was on the fire department. She was not the first female firefighter in the state of Michigan, but she was the first certified female firefighter in the state of Michigan. I tagged along ever since I can remember on calls, drills, everything. And this is home. We're family. This community is where I live. Everyone here is brother, sister, cousin, uncle, aunt. We're all connected. So I would like to have the opportunity and the honor to preside over this fire department and move things forward and keep things going as we have in the past.
Sorry, I misspelled and trying to make up for that. All right. What do you see as the biggest challenge facing our department in the next 3 to 5 years?
The biggest one right now, I still think is personnel, is getting enough quality people that want to be part of the fire department, that want to do the job. I've said this all through my career. There are 2 types of people. There are firefighters and there are employees of the fire department. There's enough employees of fire departments around. We want to foster the firefighters that want to do the job, that want to be here, that want to be part of the community, part of the culture. So retaining and adding people as we lose people, because their family dynamics change, residency change, job change. There's a lot of dynamics as to why people come and go. But like I said, we have a great group of young people. They're outside the norm. They don't ask why, they don't ask what's in it for me. You say we need to do this, and oh, you see they're gone, they're off doing it. And they don't wait to be told either. They see something that needs to be done. Hey, I got this done, I got this taken care of. Super.
What legacy or impact would you hope to leave if selected as our fire chief?
basically that we become, again, the leader in the area. As a young firefighter, when my father was here, all the neighboring departments would ask, what's Bedford doing? How's Bedford doing it? And we're very close to having that right now. And just being able to push that forward. And back to our fire academy, we have departments from Kalamazoo County that want to send their people here, Berry County that want to send their people here. We have a huge following as far as how well our academies are run and the quality of student that we put up. And just maintain that and just keep moving that forward to say, what's Bedford doing? How are they doing? So.
Excellent. Anyone have any other questions?
Just one. You bring up an interesting point about the 20-year life cycle of the apparatus. Retired Chief Kokensberger had mentioned that each one of those vehicles represents about $1 million to replace. The downside of bringing that many units into service at once
Exactly.
is that the life cycle will be up about the same time. Have we done any strategic planning around how we're going to start phasing in new equipment?
Yes. Yeah. We started a staggering replacement so that we're not doing 6 vehicles all at once. That purchase was done because it was a necessary thing, but now we're starting that stagger to replace the worst ones in the fleet as we go and saving the best ones for last. So we can stagger those out so that the entire fleet's not coming up for retirement again. So I've already implemented that. So that's
Excellent. Thank you.
thank you.
Are you staggering them one for one? Like
Well,
one goes out of service, one comes in?
in a sense, yes, but in another sense, no. The mini pumper that we are under construction is actually going to replace 2 vehicles. So it's going to replace a brush truck and the engine that was retired out and auctioned off that was in the village. So it's a smaller vehicle, but it's a firefighting vehicle. It's a Class A fire pump. That's why to get down people's driveways that are half mile long or, have not been maintained and have the canopy closed in. It's a smaller vehicle, but it's a firefighting vehicle. So that'll end up replacing 2 vehicles. And in the future, there will be a replacement. It's called a pumper tanker. It will replace an engine and a tanker. So downsizing of the fleet is an active thing. So, and upgrading the equipment that we are going to have is an ongoing
Thank you.
thing.
I have a quick question. How many firefighters do we have right now certified, and how many in the future, I guess, would you like to see that we have here?
We have 18
Okay.
right now. And again, the biggest thing is availability.
Yeah.
I could have 30 people on the sheet and only 10 people show up. We've got to make sure, and we like to spread them out across the 3 stations, the 3 districts. It doesn't do us any good to have 10 people on this side and 2 people over here, because I guarantee everything's going to happen over there.
Okay.
So it's just a matter of getting an equal number of people phased in through all 3 districts that we have. So there's not really a magic number.
Yeah.
It's just a matter of, again, we could have 30 people here, but if only 10 people are active, it's still only 10 people.
Yeah, okay, thank you.
We're gonna add up our scores here and then we'll move on the agenda. Does that sound all right?
So can I ask the procedural question of, it says score 1 to 5, but I recall during mine, the lower number was the better.
This would be the 5 would be the high number.
Oh, well, I could have turned the page.
That's on that. We can present Joyce when you've got them all finished. I only have them on one page. Okay. 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 Yeah, this was a fill out. You fill the top part out on that page. Thank you.
I need to fill mine out. Pardon? My name on the top? My name on the top is the interviewer. I sign the back. Now I forgot what I was doing. Yeah. Yeah. I only read the questions, so. No. I didn't. What was that? I don't think I saw that. Correct. Thank you. Thank you. All right, next on the agenda is supervisor comments, and I want to just talk about MCL 42 .7, which under the Charter Township Act states in part that a member of the township board who is recorded as present shall vote on all questions decided by the board unless excused by the unanimous consent
of the other members present. I do want to disclose that I am married to a firefighter here on the Bedford Charter Township. So I don't know if anyone would perceive that as a conflict of interest for me to vote on the resolution that is next on the agenda. That would be according to our legal advice is the voting would have to be unanimous. There doesn't need to be a vote if board members do not feel there's a conflict. I know that I would not have a conflict. I am very good at separating church and state, but totally your call. Obviously, if my husband was applying, I would not be here to partake in any of this, but like I said, that is up to my fellow board members.
I don't feel there's a conflict.
I don't perceive a conflict.
I don't know. Not at all. Mm-mm.
Okay. And now next on the agenda is resolution 7/15/25/24. A resolution to hire a new fire chief for the Charter Township of Bedford. Whereas the position of fire chief for the Charter Township of Bedford has become vacant. And whereas the Township Board has conducted a thorough recruitment and interview process. And whereas the board has determined that William Woodward is the most qualified candidate to serve as fire chief effective immediately with a salary of $8,000 per annum. Is there a motion?
So move.
Support.
Discussion. No discussion? All right, a roll call?
Treasurer Davis.
Yeah.
Trustee McKay,
Yes.
trustee Blanchard,
Wholeheartedly, yes.
trustee Hoskins.
Yes.
Supervisor Bodie,
Yes.
clerk Bronco, yes. 6 yes, motion carried.
Congratulations, chief.
Thank you very much.
Thank you.
It's very much appreciated. I'll do my best.
You better.
I know. My work wife will keep an eye on me too.
Yeah, that's right, that's right. Okay, good. All right, that's exciting. I would like to do something with you and the just retired chief and maybe do a lunch or cookout or something to celebrate.
Good idea.
Okay, we'll plan that this
Yeah.
week, okay?
Okay.
Next on the agenda is public comment. Is there any public comment?
Just to say congratulations to Bill.
That's right. That's it. Okay, next is trustees' personal privilege, trustee Blanchard.
Again, congratulations, chief. I think that for a paid on-call department, somebody of your qualification and experience doesn't come around every day. And I think that our entire community is all the better for it. So thank you very much.
Trustee McKay.
Also congratulate you, Bill. Glad to have you on board. I echo the sentiments. I went through the list and I couldn't believe, oh my goodness, all that training and qualification. That's exceptional. Glad to have you on board. You'll help our community a lot.
I'll try.
Trustee Hoskins.
Yes, thank you. Very impressed
Good.
with everything that you said, especially continuing it. So important, for the firefighters. It's a dangerous job. And the more that they are trained, the more they feel comfortable with their leadership as you, it's gonna make them stronger. And so I think it's good, engaging the community at every level, whether community public events or at a time of need. That's really important that you look outside the box and see all that stuff. So I think we're blessed to have you lead our fire department and, we're looking forward to that.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Treasurer Davis.
I would like to just follow suit with what everyone has said. Congratulations, and I was wowed with your credentials as well when I was looking through them.
Thank you.
Well
Clerk
deserved,
Bronco.
well deserved.
Thank
I'll just-
Congratulations.
Yeah, no kidding. I'll just say real quick, this is just some of the certifications that he has, so. I did go through all of them and make sure he had all the necessaries, and, you have more than just the necessaries, so. Thank you for your hard work, and I wish you the best of luck. And, Bedford Township's in good hands,
Thank you.
so thank you. So now I guess we can call the meeting over at 6:51.